Hi, welcome to the Center for Parenting Education and our webcast called Listening Beyond the Words, the Skill of Active Listening. Have you ever stopped to think about what it feels like when someone is willing to listen to what you have to say and to acknowledge your feelings? Contrast this with how you might feel when you can't get through to someone, when they talk over you or discount what you have to say. What's the difference between how these two people respond to you? In this podcast, you'll learn about the single most important skill you can have in your parenting tool belt, the art of active listening. Really listening to your children is the best way to create the kind of caring relationship in which they see you as being in their corner and as a base to which they can always return whenever they need support. Having this relationship is one of the strongest factors in helping children to become resilient, responsible, and caring people. Active listening is a specific form of communication that lets another person know that you're with them, aware of what they're saying, accepting of their perspective, and appreciative of their situation. If active listening to your children, they have the feeling that you respect them and therefore they can be freer to express themselves. Because active listening builds trust and closeness between you and your child, it's the single most important skill you can have as a parent. It'll raise the self-esteem of both of you as the bond between you grows stronger. Having this sense of connection to another person is one of the key elements of healthy self-esteem. At the time you're listening in this way, there's no judgment or evaluation of what the speaker is saying. Often, parents resist at this point, thinking that active listening implies that they're agreeing with whatever their child is saying. But it's important to distinguish between accepting and agreeing. Acceptance is the heart and soul of active listening. You're not necessarily agreeing with what the other person is saying. It's just that this is not the time to object, to teach, or to help your child to solve a problem, or to ask a ton of questions. This is the time to let your child talk without interruptions or judgment while you listen. Active listening is actually a very sophisticated skill that can take years to get right. Because most of us were not raised in homes in which this kind of listening was practiced, and actually very little of it occurs among people in general, it can feel like you're learning a second language.
To get a feel for active listening, it helps to hear an example of what it is not and what it is. Listen to the following 3 scenarios, which represent how 3 different parents could respond to the same situation in which their 10-year-old daughter has a problem and wants to discuss it with the parents. Please think about how the parent and the child are feeling, how the parents' responses affect the relationship between them. So this is our first scene.
I don't want to go to school today. It's so boring.
Of course you want to go to school today. You have gym today. You always love gym.
No, I don't. Besides, we're playing basketball, and I hate that.
Well, you better learn to like it, and you better like school, too. You don't have a choice, you know. You have to go to school. Everyone has to do things they don't want to do, and you are no different.
I hate school, and I just hate gym.
So in this first scenario, this parent seemed annoyed, angry, and impatient, and didn't seem to want to hear what the child had to say about why she didn't want to go to school. And the child didn't feel like the mother had heard her, and didn't probably want to turn to this mother when she would have problems or need support in the future. Let's do it a second time and see how this mother responds to a child in a similar situation.
I don't want to go to school today, Mom. It's so boring.
Oh, that's awful. School shouldn't be boring. You're bright and you need a lot of interesting things going on to keep your interest.
Well, I don't care about that. I just hate school and I don't want to go.
Well, I'm just going to go right up to school and tell Mrs. Tanner that she has to make up special lessons that will keep you interested.
Oh, no, Mom, don't do that. I'll be fine in school. I'm going to do my homework right now. Just don't call the school.
So in this scenario, the mother jumped right in with praise of her child and a solution to the problem. She seemed not to be able to tolerate that her little girl might be unhappy. The child didn't want the mother's intervention and decided that it was better not talking to her. She probably will not continue to turn to this mother if she's unhappy in the future. So now let's see a third scenario and see how this mother handles a similar situation.
I don't want to go to school today, Mom. It's so boring.
You're not happy at school because it's not interesting to you?
Yeah, nobody likes it, and the kids don't listen to the teacher when she tells them to do something.
So it bothers you that the other kids don't behave.
They're mean to me and some other kids. When the teacher isn't looking, they throw rolled up pieces of paper at me. I hate that. And Mrs. Tanner doesn't even know what's going on. She's so lame.
So you're really angry at the kids and feel so let down by your teacher. She doesn't even know what's going on. You expect the teacher to know what's happening in the room.
Yeah, I want to let her know what the other kids are doing.
So this time, this mother did not get angry, and she didn't jump in with solutions. She listened without judging, and she let her daughter know that she was in tune with what she was saying and feeling. She kept herself separate from the situation and that her daughter was describing, and she was able to tolerate her sadness, anger, and disappointing feelings. And as a result, she was able to talk about the situation in the classroom in more detail, and the mother actually found out what was really bothering her daughter. In this last scenario is an example of how active listening can help empower your child by aiding him in getting clear about what his feelings are, and even coming to some decisions on his own about how he wants to handle a situation. Ultimately, it brings the mother and child closer together.
Now we're going to talk about the basics of active listening. There are certain attitudes that are needed when you actively listen to your children, and as a parent, these are particularly hard to summon sometimes. We often have our own agendas for how we want their situations resolved. We feel uncomfortable when our children are experiencing something unpleasant. We don't like when they have certain feelings. We have a hard time separating our feelings from theirs, and our lives are so hectic and busy, with time being such a valuable commodity. But it's important to strive to achieve these attitudes. So the first is to be prepared to accept the feelings and perceptions as real for your child, even if you don't agree with them.
Be objective, yet use your intuition to interpret feelings.
Have the necessary time, when you can, stop what you're doing to give your child full attention when he needs to talk to you.
Want to listen and focus on your child and stay attentive.
Allow the speaker to be responsible for his or her own feelings. Keep yourself separate from the situation.
Recognize that feelings are often transitory. Often, when a child is able to vent his feelings, they are diminished and your child is able to move on. It is said that positive feelings cannot come through until negative feelings come out. Then he is able to focus on solutions.
Let the exchange go only as far as the speaker wants it to. Don't push your child to continue to talk after he seems satisfied or doesn't seem to want to talk anymore.
Be patient and allow your child to draw his own conclusions.
Do not have some specific result in mind. There are certain times when active listening is the best parenting tool to use. When you sense strong feelings on the part of your child, and that could be positive or negative feelings, when you sense that your child needs to vent emotions, feel understood, or have an opportunity to clarify his thoughts with an accepting person. When you're not involved personally in the situation is not your problem and you're able to stay separate and objective.
On the other hand, there are times when active listening would not be appropriate. When you don't have the necessary attitudes and shoulds for listening. When a person needs information, not someone to listen. There's a joke that when an active listener is asked what time it is, the person responds, "So you're wondering what time it is?" When your child is more in need of reassurance, praise, or discipline. Obviously, if your child's about to hit his younger brother over the head with a toy truck, you would not say, "You're really angry with Sean right now." Rather, it would be time to take action and to take the truck away. When you feel resistance and your child does not want to talk, at times like that you can say, "I'm here for you whenever you do want to talk." When you have strong feelings on the subject so that you cannot remain objective and separate. In the second role play above, the mother was not able to listen to her child's bad feelings of being bored and not liking school. When you have some investment in the outcome of the situation or any decision your child makes. In the first role play, the mother wanted her child to go to school, so she was not able to hear anything beyond his statement that he did not want to go. Or when you're too needy to yourself and feeling drained, to give time and energy to focus on your child. Don't force yourself.
Remember that active listening to your children is one of the most important gifts you can give them. It can help you to create a very special and supportive bond with them in which you both feel a heightened sense of self-esteem. By becoming a safe haven for your children, they'll see you as someone they can turn to in difficult situations, even during the teen years when they could face complicated life situations. By being non-judgmental and accepting of what's on their minds, they'll feel comfortable opening up to you and will have a comforting place where they can explore their reactions and feelings. Thank you for listening to this podcast.